it's great to have you all here, and you have just gone through a workshop. I hope you all liked it. So, basically here we are going to explore the new and modern functionalities of React in our plugin development. As you can see the topic heading, that is modern plugin development using React. Okay. Now everybody of you might be thinking, why modernization? Why is it required? Everywhere we hear is modern something happening. So may I ask, have any of you ever worked on your plugins with React? Have you ever worked on React with inside your plugin? Any of you? Okay, so you will be getting an idea today that how you can do a work on it, and how you can set up React on inside your plugins. Fine. So this session is going to be like, I'm not giving you a hands-on, but in this session I'll be explaining how you can set up React, and I'll be showcasing a plugin which is developed using React. So just wait for that. A little introduction about me, and this is Vishal Singh, and I am passionate about providing the best experience to the users. So that is basically increase their productivity and our product experiences, right? And I am working as a software engineer for past 2 years with Mini Orange organization, and there I have delivered several plugins with very good user interfaces and reviews on. Okay. Okay, so why do you think we require modernization? Why do you think we need any modern content framework? So as you see, in the traditional plugin development, we just use everything happens on our server side. Every logic rendering, UI rendering, and all of the tasks which we do is happen on server side. So if you perform a task, a form submit, as simple as a form submit, the page will just reload, and your static data will come from database, and it will be loaded on your WordPress admin area in the plugin. Okay. Now here it basically arises some bottlenecks. So first we talk in traditional plugin development, we just have PHP for logic rendering and HTML, CSS only for your UI development, and some jQuery for minimal interactions. But jQuery, as you can see, to write complex UIs, you will be having a complex kind of code which is not maintainable that much. So that's why, yeah. Yeah, it has certain limitations, I was saying. Here you can see poor separation of code bases. Like if you are coding a plugin, you are using PHP and HTML. So you see you are echoing some HTML code, CSS code in your PHP function. You need to do it if you are developing a plugin. Otherwise, you can make a WordPress plugin front end. Okay? To separate that, we need modern front-end frameworks. Also, it causes bottleneck in performance. While our DOM loaded, it renders the whole DOM, which document object model, which increases the performance bottleneck and increases the time rendering. And also interactivity, as you can see nowadays, all users want the interactivity, like real-time updates and these kind of things. Like you click on a button and your data should be getting fetched and loaded on your screen. They don't want the page to be reloaded again and again. Coming on our topic, why do we need modern front-end frameworks? So, as you see, the modern front-end frameworks provide real-time dynamic user interactions. Like you click a button and those functionalities will be rendered on your page instantaneously. You don't need to wait for a page reload that initially initiates your DOM again and reload your whole data into there. And using the modern front-end frameworks, you can have the single page applications, which I just told, you will not be needed reloading again and again. In the single page, you can have multiple components, and in those components, when you passing data or doing anything, your components will be reloaded then and there itself. Next is the main thing, third main thing is decoupling back end and front end, which is very important for maintaining the code and make it readable and understandable for your developers or your teams. So you can have your UI components in the React application, which separates your UI logic from your backend logic. So you will be having your backend logic in the PHP files and your UI logic in your React files, your JS files. Yeah. So it improves the developer productivity and your team productivity as well. Like you can have multiple teams to work on multiple projects. Some team might be handling your UI part. Some teams might be handling your backend part. Uh, in this time of plugin development, the traditional development which we are following, we need to have a person who knows the whole code so that he can tell where the UI is rendering, from where the UI is rendering, from where the data has been passed, and how the data is being stored in WordPress database, like that. Okay. Moving ahead, why React specifically from the modern front-end frameworks? So most of you have heard about the word React as it is very popular nowadays, right? So why React specifically? You can see the first point. It is already a part of WordPress. You see the Gutenberg blocks. The Gutenberg is already powered by React. So it has been a part of WordPress and it is very stable with it. So WordPress itself provides many scripts and loads scripts itself. So this is the first reason. Next is the component-based architecture. So React has the component-based architecture in which you can create multiple components, and each component will be responsible for handling its own logic and UI. So like you have a form, you can create a input component. You can use this input component everywhere in your form. Like you just created a text input component and you are using it on first name, last name, your email, your password, everything. So that is highly reusable, and component-based architecture is also modular. Like you can break your complex UI components into simpler components and reuse them again and again. And also these components are encapsulated on itself. Like these are isolated from each of its components. So you have basically separate components and these are isolated from one another. So they are encapsulated in itself. So likelihood of bugs is minimized in that case. Now we see here the third reason is the efficient state management. So what React does is React uses the state management. State is basically the data that is being rendered or being passed to your database and rendered to your UI again. Okay, so React provides some pre-built hooks and the ability to create custom hooks as well. Pre-built hooks, you can, for example, you can take use state, use effect. So you can use state to define a variable state, like what state it is, and you can update that state on the ongoing code. And coming to the use effect hook, it will basically mount your action, it will perform your action when the component mounts on your DOM. Yeah. Okay, now coming to the fourth reason, the virtual DOM. Virtual DOM. So virtual DOM, do anybody of you have any idea what virtual DOM is, how React works with virtual DOM? Any of you? So you must know about the normal DOM, browser's DOM. It basically rendered all the UI logic there. virtual DOM is something which is specific to React. So it basically creates a virtual image of your original DOM in its separate memory on browser. And when a specific things happen, when a specific action occurs, it basically renders the logic from there and changes in virtual DOM. And the part that has been changed in your virtual DOM, just only that part is being updated on your browser's DOM, which increases your performance many times. So you are not understand this. You are not upgrading your whole browser DOM. Just the part you want to update, only that part is getting updated, as it is being updated on your virtual DOM first, and on the browser's DOM it is being updated later, and on that specific part only. Yes. Yeah. And the fifth point is huge ecosystem and availability and community support. As you can see, React is very popular, so you can find many pre-built plugins and forums and all Stack Overflow kind of materials over there. Also, WordPress is integrated very tightly with it, React, so they're not going to lose it. And they have many kind of documentations regarding this. So yeah, it has huge ecosystem over there. Okay. Moving forward, setting up React in your WordPress. So prerequisites to get started, you need to have Node.js on your system and npm yarn and obviously WordPress setup on which you are going to load it, right? So it is just simple as that, and you have to just enqueue a specific script, which is you can use the WP enqueue script hook. I think everybody of you should know about that WP enqueue script, and you have to enqueue a WP element script in that. WP element is a WordPress's predefined script which helps you render and understand the React's code. So by enqueuing that, your WordPress will be able to understand your React application. Now the last part is the bundling it for production. So you have Webpack or Babel. These are the two tools which you can use to bundle your React application for production. Like you can have separate components written, and you can use these tools. These will basically create a build in your plugin file only and create a single JS file in which your whole code base will be written and which is understandable or interpreted by your WordPress through this WP element script. I hope it is clear to you all. Yeah, shall we move forward? Yes. Any questions so far? Okay. Okay, so the main thing is dynamic data rendering and form submission. You guys must have heard about the WordPress REST APIs. We initialize them using WP REST init hook and write our own APIs in it and the custom logic rendering using that. So for dynamic data rendering, we use these REST APIs. And basically your React application JS file calls to these APIs and fetch data in the real time